Food miles, the hidden truth. We hear the words sustainability or sustainable, but do we actually know what they mean? Is it simply taking what we need to live now without jeopardizing the potential for people in the future to meet their needs? Living sustainably is about living within the means of our environment and ensuring that our lifestyle doesn't harm society. Food mile relates to the environment and social issues, importantly associated with transporting food from where it is produced, to where it is processed, and then to the retailer and then finally to the end customer. But have you ever stopped to consider the environmental and social factors of buying non-local foods? Follow me, Femi Adigan, on my journey of the food mile. We have three main ways food is transported into and around the UK: by road freight, shipping freight and air freight. Road freight uses 4 times the amount of energy per tonne kilometre than rail. Road freight carries 81% of goods and has been forecasted to increase dramatically. However, only 6% of the goods in the UK are transported by rail. Over a third of the growth in the road freight in the UK over the same period is attributed to the food, drink and tobacco, more than any other commodity group. The remaining 30% of food is imported by air freight. This may seem small, but importing food by air is particularly serious, consuming 37 times more fuel than shipping. Most flown fresh produce is piggybacked onto tourist flights. Produce importers claim that this is easier for them, but it has been argued that this has not increased the volume of air traffic, since many of these air freighted imports come in baggage holds of passenger planes. However, this practice encourages air transport, both by increasing the profits for such long-haul flights and by creating new demand for long-haul flights of fresh produce. Aviation is widely acknowledged to be the growth of food miles, but surely this is not sustainable. Road transport leads to many environmental and social impacts, including air and noise pollution, loss of countryside and wildlife, congestion, and health effects for humans and animals. It has been estimated that the traffic congestion costs the UK industry around 15 to 20 billion each year, and approximately 34% of all UK energy consumption was used by transport, which is a major contribution to pollutant emissions. Now, of the UK emissions, transport accounts for 26% of carbon dioxide, 61% of nitrous oxides, and 59% of black smokes. Now, in particular, air freight is expected to double in the next 20 years, and air freight can cause very high levels of pollution. Did you know that air pollution from taking off a 380-seated plane is equivalent to the level of driving 20,000 cars 1 mile at 30 miles per hour? Now, the government accepts that 24,000 people die prematurely every year as a result of exposure to air pollution and health impacts of traffic pollution. The IPCC predicts that the average global temperature will rise from 1 degree by the year 2030 to nearly 3 degrees by the year 2019 due to the increase of greenhouse emissions. Now, such a temperature change would lead to increasing sea levels, high wind speed and more extreme weather events. Since many retailers seek efficiency through economies of scale, they encourage their suppliers to produce a very limited range of varieties of crops in order to simplify their packaging and distribution operations. This can reduce traditional regional diversity and result in a loss of agricultural biodiversity. On a global scale, reduced biodiversity poses a serious threat to food security, as genetic basis of crops is now narrower and more fragile than it has ever been, which makes them more vulnerable to pests which thrive in these conditions. If consumers were to eat more locally grown, in-season fresh produce, then food miles would automatically be reduced.